Oh, hey there. Now we're going. How's it going?
We're trying really hard to get it together today.
It's sort of happening.
It's sort of. I think we're doing pretty well.
Well, welcome. Happy Friday. Desperados, fellow Desperados.
Oh, I love that song. We gotta mute our volumes. We're terrible. We're just falling apart here today.
Picture you.
What?
Oh, never mind. It's gone.
Oh, my hair's doing crazy things again.
So is mine.
Gosh.
So we're arranging a song today. We're gonna go through some tips for how to arrange a song.
We are.
And that song is going to be Desperado.
I love Desperado.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Okay.
Oh, Papa Bear, are you having problems with your video? Is everybody else good? Can you, because we are live now, so if you are not seeing us, please let me know.
I think we should. I think we should be good.
I think we should be good.
Yeah.
We are good to go? Okay, so yes, Desperado. If you're a Pianote member, you have access to the
chart.
The chart.
Where? Chart.
Where will it be?
It'll be in
lesson details.
Oh no, it's at the top right corner.
Top right-hand corner.
You can see the Desperado PDF. So
yes.
That is the chord chart that Lisa's going to be working from. So we're going to talk about like how we arrange this into something. Okay, we're good.
We're good.
Yeah. How we.
Do you know?
Yeah, I do. I do. How we arrange this song, right?
Yes. Okay. So one of the things that happens, I'm just getting my little handy dandy chart up here. So
yeah, take your time.
No, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Oh,
so kind of when you approach chording a new song, you want to kind of I don't know. I have like some steps that I take. Step one is I figure out what the key is going to be that I'm going to play it in.
Yeah.
And then I figure out how to play the chords in their most basic form, so it just feels like simple and easy and no problems.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Simple forms.
Simple forms. So I'm going to talk you through these chords. I think we probably have people of all levels here. So, you know, this might be a lesson where you just go, okay, I'm going to learn how to just play the chords.
Yeah.
If you're a little bit more advanced, then you can kind of get a feel for what we're doing. What we're going to take is the basic structure and we're going to build on it. Yeah. So we'll talk about adding in some fills. We'll talk about, you know, maybe when we should be at the top of the piano or the bottom or the middle and what to do tempo-wise. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Okay, so you guys know about, well, yeah, you guys know how to ask questions.
Ask questions.
Ask them.
We have questions. Okay, so the first chord here is A.
Okay.
Then we have an A7. So I like to play my A, especially when I'm beginning a song, kind of as close to the middle as I can. And then to play the 7, I place my 2 finger on the A, on the root note, and then I just hit the 7 right there.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A7.
You want the G.
But this says A7. That doesn't sound right. Desperado. That sounds better to me. What
so you want to play that as a major 7 then?
Major 7, folks.
Right.
What do you think sounds better? Desperado.
Well, I think it does the A7.
I know, but Desperado.
Okay, so this is the first arrangement.
This is the first arrangement deviation. Lisa has decided to play a major 7 instead of a normal 7.
Lisa has decided. Lisa has decreed. This is now
the law of the land of Desperados.
There you go.
But you guys can play that either way.
Yeah.
I always find that, like with 7ths, I'm not gonna lie, folks. I just pick the 7th note of something and I play it. And if I don't like how it sounds, I edit it by a half step.
Right.
I know that the 7th is gonna be either the half step below the root note or a full step below, so I just kind of fudge it till I find what sounds good.
Cool.
Is that a bad way to do it, do you think, Jordan? No, okay.
No.
All right. A.
A.
A major 7 or a 7, depending on your mood.
Yeah.
D.
Yeah.
Major. Okay, so D major has a sharp, and then I love how the song contrasts the major and the minor.
That's cool. That's such a cool sound.
Yes. And then we've got an A. And then I added this little detail into the chart myself.
Nice.
I like to play an E over G sharp as like a crawl down. And then F sharp minor, B major, E. 7. Now, you can throw 7s on most of these chords and it works.
Yeah.
Back to A. A7 of your choosing. D major, D minor, A major, C sharp 7, F sharp minor 7. Ooh, there's lots of 7 chords. E and then A. So if you're playing along, those are the chords.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna pretend like you're comfortable with chording.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say, okay, you're sitting down to play the song and you're going, okay, I know how to play the basic chords, but what should I do to make this sound cool? I would suggest starting in the middle, playing your basic chords. You can choose to do root position or inversions, either works.
Yeah.
And I usually, like, as kind of a rule of thumb, start my first verse in the middle and stay pretty simple.
Yeah.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences for so long now. Oh, you're a hard one. Okay, so it's basic. Now, we're gonna get bored real quick. So what I wanna do is I wanna start building some rhythm.
Yeah.
So that feels to me as like the easiest next step.
Yeah.
Because you gotta get comfortable. This song is very chordy. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just slowly, you'll notice, I'll start playing more repetitions of the chords.
Okay.
I'm not gonna necessarily change.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the Eagles. The chords that I'm playing, but I'm gonna play more of them. So I'm out riding fences for so long now. Oh, you're a hard one. See, we're building rhythm. I know that you got your reasons. These things that are pleasing you can hurt you somehow. Okay, now this is a perfect moment to add some color.
Okay.
And I was thinking that 5-finger scales are a great way when you're transitioning, or 4-note scales, from a verse to a chorus, especially if you have the space. So what I'm gonna do is this. And I'm gonna land. So that's gonna look like this. Hurt you somehow. I guess it's 3. 1, 2, 3, 5. That's what I do.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then you're on the next chord.
Yes, and that's gonna sound really nice. You draw the queen. So it's a quick little thing. Do, 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 do.
And then you're kind of landing up.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you have to move fast.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
Cool.
But it sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Now, if you want it to be like even more like fancier, I'm super good with my grammar today. Hurt you somehow. You could go up an octave.
Right.
Hurt you somehow. Don't you draw the queen of diamonds, boy. So you can choose where to take it.
Yeah.
There's a little fill, makes it sounds cool.
Yeah.
So now as you build into your chorus, that's where you definitely want to be kind of having a point of rhythm. So I love octaves in the chorus because I feel like it really anchors the sound and it gives a feeling that you're building something. So you've taken these basic root position or inversion chords, you're not playing a whole lot in terms of rhythm, but when you get to the chorus, you add a fill on your way in and then you start to build with your octaves and that makes it feel like, oh my gosh, it's the grand moment.
Yeah.
Which is what the chorus is supposed to be.
Right.
So that would look like this. Don't you draw the queen of diamonds, boy. She'll beat you if she's able. You know the queen of hearts is always your best bet. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to break up my chords. So I'm gonna play solid most of the time, and I'm gonna throw in the occasional like do-do-do. I'm not gonna add any different notes other than the ones that I'm playing in the chord.
Okay.
I might do this, I might do this, I might go here, but I'm just gonna break the chord.
Yeah.
It's gonna change where the ear lands. Don't you draw the queen of diamonds, boy. She'll beat you if she's able. No, the queen of hearts is always your best bet.
Right.
That's one of my favorite things to do because it looks fancy.
Yeah, it looks fancy, and like it's kind of like little ladder movements that get you from chord to chord, right?
Yes. You're welcome, Westy.
Cool. I like it.
This
I
is
like it a
the
lot.
Eagles, guys. I'm just checking in on the questions to see if there's anything anything that I need to address as we go here. Am I using diatonic chords?
Yes.
I am using diatonic
Yeah, you're
chords.
using the chords, most of the chords that are appearing here in this song, with a few exceptions. Like sometimes the melody will change a little bit, and then you're using a song or a chord that's not like present in the regular key of the song. But all the stuff that we've been looking at so far, I think, has been using the keys, using the chords in the key of A, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. Okay. So we're gonna go back to those little runs, and I feel like a lot of times people they can get kind of stuck here. This is the tricky spot because
in what part here?
When we do the broken chords like that, because I feel like what happens is we're trying really hard to stay rhythmic. We're trying to stay on our rhythm, and then when we add those extra sort of little moments in, it can get a little bit tricky.
Right.
So if I slow this way down, can draw the queen of diamonds, boy. What I'm doing is I'm adding the fill in on the offbeat. So if I play draw the queen of diamonds, boy, she'll be, everything's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm continuing with that theme, 1, 2, do, 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 1, 2, do, 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 1, 2, do, 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 1, 2.
Okay.
So establish your beat,
Yeah.
and then fill in the fills and the spaces between them.
Yeah, it's okay. I like that. It's like you kind of have this big drum kind of thing. That's like your main chords, but then you have little moments to kind of dance around in between your big pulse, right?
Yes. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one of my little favorites.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna recap. Basic chords, kind of in the middle, not much rhythm.
Yeah.
Slowly building rhythm by playing more notes.
Yes. Papa Bear's back.
Papa Bear's back. Welcome back, Papa Bear. Then for the chorus, you want to build it. So whether that means you just kind of play with heavier hands, maybe you're a bit louder, or you add some octaves to anchor the sound, and start throwing in some fills or twinkle or sparkle or whatever you want to call it. I just like breaking up the notes of the chord because you don't really have to think about it. You just sound awesome doing it.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're going to kind of, I tend to stay a little more fancy for the next verse. So if we come off the chorus, it seems to me some fine things have been laid upon your table, but you only want the ones that you can get. And here's this, like another sort of broken moment, ones that you can get. Desperado. And I'm gonna go here. And watch this, the twinkle's happening again. This is like a good improv moment to jump off of, but we're not going to. We're gonna stay in the song. Desperado, oh, you ain't getting no younger. Now watch this. This is like another sort of arrangement technique moment.
Okay.
I'm here, and I'm gonna jump up a couple inversions. So I'll show you again. Desperado, oh, you ain't getting no younger. Your pain and your hunger. So I'm not staying on the same inversion for all my repetitions of the chord.
Right.
And I think that's another really good sort of intentional skill development moment. Because we do that. We pick our favorite inversions and we stay there.
Yeah.
But it can be a really good, not just for you technically, but it'll actually do really fun things for the sound of your song if you move around on the keyboard with each chord you're playing.
Yeah.
How are we doing, guys? Is this all making sense so far?
Yeah, I think so.
Everybody good?
So is this sort of stuff, like how do you arrange your songs differently when you're working with just solo piano versus
That's a good question.
versus a band setting?
So in a solo piano setting, it's kind of like, I like to follow a similar template of like starting kind of basic, building, bringing it back down, like always kind of thinking about what's the journey that we're going on in the song and how can it kind of match the story of the song.
Right.
So if I were to perform this, I would try to pick out some of the melody a little bit more.
Okay.
So for example, I'd play an intro. And I tend to like to start kind of high on the keys for my intros. That could be your intro. And then you can pause dramatically. My main melody note is the third of the E major chord. And then the same thing where I'm going to use these kind of broken triads to add color and fill in between those melody notes. So show again.
Yeah.
Kind of simple.
Sweet.
And you can break that down even more simply by just finding your root notes and doing a non-chorded or harmonized melody. I missed the 7 there.
The bare essence of those chords.
The very bare essence of the chords. And then as I built it, I'm gonna try some arpeggios. Well, I guess you could kind of call these arpeggios. 5, 2, 1 bare shell arpeggios. And then you just kind of go from there.
Cool.
That's my thinking about it anyways.
Yeah.
Either way, it's always about knowing that in most cases, you don't want to go into the song guns a-blazing.
Right.
You want to have, I always say, pick 3 sort of separate techniques that you want to implement in the song that you can disperse and kind of juggle around to create something interesting.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Papa Bear. So for this song, I might go, okay, I want to play a high twinkly intro up on the high end of the keys. I want to use some broken chords for kind of interest to make it sound fancy.
Right.
And I want to make sure that I'm changing between fifths and octaves in my left hand.
Cool.
And so I go, okay, so how can I intersperse those through the song to make it really exciting dynamically? And for some of my students, I actually have them print out the music and look at the whole song and go, okay, here I should be small. Here I'm gonna try the octaves. Here I'm gonna switch to this technique so that you can map it out and have a plan.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's one of those skills that develops over time. Like, you're not gonna think about the dynamic structure of this when you're just gonna sit down and play it.
No, I think,
but at the beginning, you would have had to.
I think think about the dynamic structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly, it's something where it's like you, look, you rock.
Ah, it's because I'm wearing such a rock and roll shirt today.
It is a cool shirt.
This is a rock and roll shirt.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I think it's like you kind of have. Sometimes, like, I used to actually draw out like a little graph of like where things would get sort of bigger and where things would get smaller.
Yes.
And a lot of times it's just as simple as like, okay, your verses are bigger and smaller than, or your verses are maybe smaller than your choruses or something like that.
Yep.
But then it's like a neat exercise that can be kind of cool and inspiring is like swap that around and do your verses loud and then do like a small little chorus, because who knows what happens out of that, right?
That's like another jump off point for improv for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, singing along with playing. Okay, so I have 2 answers for you. One of them is as like a vocal coach, and one of them is as a piano player.
Right.
So a vocal coach would say, you know, you want to be separating your playing from your singing if you're still struggling with pitch, so that you can make sure that you're developing really good muscle memory on the notes.
Sorry.
Wake up, man!
I'm woken.
I'll start pinching you.
Yeah. Consider me woken.
Thank you.
Okay,
so yes, you don't want to create bad muscle memory by like, you know, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do this. So might be good to learn the song really, really well and it's like sing in your head, if that makes sense, while you're figuring it out.
Yeah.
And then when you're thinking less about your hands, then try bringing the vocal back into the picture. That would be what I would suggest that you try doing.
Right.
And another thing that I do with my vocal clients is I actually have them just sing like ridiculous noises to the song. So you might just do this, ah, 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 or bop, 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 bop.
Right.
So you're not having to really think about anything other than just creating a sound.
Some sounds, and you're doing that like in sort of rhythm.
With what's happening.
Yeah.
So that would be that. But then as the piano player, I would say, okay, well, you know, you're trying to learn the song, and it's so great to sing along because if you can sing it, you can play it. So I think there's 2 sides to that argument.
Can you overdo the twinkles?
Oh yeah. I'm all about overdo. No, wait, what?
You do like your twinkles.
I don't think you can overdo twinkles.
She's biased.
I'm biased because I love the twinkles and the sparkles. However, it's kind of one of those things where less is more.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Yes.
So if I started my song like this. Why do I keep forgetting the 7? It's just really busy.
Right.
It's really twinkly.
Yeah.
Your twinkles will twinkle brighter if you use them sparingly.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
That's a very beautiful analogy. It's like the difference between having like, you look at stars, right?
Yeah, I love stars.
You look up at the stars and they twinkle.
They're so twinkly.
But if it was just one big star up there, it'd be a really big sun that'd be just too warm.
He makes a good point.
It's an astronomy point.
Okay, hold on. What did Okay, you love many Eagles fans, but you're a bigger fan of Alice Cooper. I'm taking my kid to go see Alice Cooper.
Oh,
he's only 9, so I was a little nervous to buy him tickets, but he's obsessed with him. So we're going to see Alice Cooper in August.
In August?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that'll be good.
Hold on, I was...
What do you want to read here?
Oh, it's okay. You didn't know this song right away because it's just not a song that everybody knows.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song, though.
It's such a beautiful song.
It's melancholy. But it's wise.
Melancholy.
It has some good advice.
It's a wisely melancholy song.
Yeah. Okay. What else do you want to talk about arranging?
Arranging.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like any specific questions about, okay, hey, when you're playing this chord at this moment, what would you suggest I do? Because I can kind of break that down. Or if there's anything that felt like, oh my gosh, what were you doing there? Let me know.
Itself.
Yeah. I'm just going to do Luke. Okay. Let's go back to this again. So if I start my song, intro kind of high. There's the sparkle. That could be the intro. Sparkly. Now our very simple start. I'm only playing one chord per measure, rotation, movement. A. This E over G sharp is optional. You could go just from the A to the F sharp minor. B, E. Either your melodic playing can shine. Or your voice can shine and your hands can stay simple. These things that are pleasing you can hurt you somehow. Now here's where my rhythm's gonna build. Don't you draw the queen of diamonds, boy, she'll twinkle, beat you as she's able. You know the queen of hearts is always your best bet. And here's where I'm using some inversions. Now it seems to me some fine things have been laid upon your table. Now here's kind of like a sweet moment in the chorus, so I'm actually gonna move myself up, but you only want, and I'm gonna hang on the chords instead of filling them up. The ones that you can't get. Now this is a transition moment, so I'm gonna break the chord to build some like, oh, what's happening? Intention, desperado. Now I'm back to kind of the middle, but with a little bit more rhythm. Getting no younger. A broken chord for fun. And then for my A, I'm gonna land on the sus. Watch this. You're getting no younger. Your pain, that doesn't work. Your pain and your, don't land on the sus. Here on the B. See that? It's a B sus instead of a B. Driving or driving you home. Another sus. Those work really nicely. And freedom, well, that's just some people talking. Simplifying again. Your prison is walking through this world all alone. Now, I've come off there and I'm gonna be building, so I'm just gonna, right, so the rhythm's happening here. Don't your feet get cold in the wintertime? The sky won't snow and the sun won't shine, and it's hard to tell the nighttime from the day. See how I'm using more of the keyboard? Because this is the final chorus. Losing all your highs and lows, ain't it funny how that feeling goes? Now I've deconstructed what's happening with my left hand. Away, no big octaves, just kind of little pretty fifths or single notes. And then the final chorus, you know, this is where everything's kind of sort of coming down. So I'm gonna play fewer notes, but I might keep some rhythm so it doesn't feel like I've dropped off. Desperado. See how I'm just doing a fifth in my right hand? It's super cool, it keeps it open. Why don't you come to your senses? Come down from your fences and, is that chord? I'm gonna hang on the E. Hey, maybe. Now I'm gonna kind of build some more. But there's a rainbow above you. You better let somebody love you. And then it echoes it, so I'm gonna play a 4-note chord just to make it bigger. Let somebody love you. You better let somebody love you. Bring it down before it's too late. I don't know. Nice. There are so many ways to mix and match these sort of skills and techniques to create something that is cool for you. But, ooh, Lisa, what about dropping some of the sevenths because of the chordiness? 100%. This song is so seventhsy. You don't need them. Sorry, Jordan. Jordan loves sevenths. He gets upset when I talk about ignoring them. Actually, that is what I always used to do because I didn't understand how to play them.
Yeah.
I just was like, oh, I don't know what that means. So I wouldn't play them at all. And usually you can get away with it. In this song, I find that the A to the A7 is kind of important. You'll want to keep that one.
Yeah.
But the B, the F sharp minor 7, the B7, and the E7, you can drop those because it sounds... I ride in fences. There's no sevens for so long now. It's fine.
Yeah.
It works.
Awesome. So, hey, when you are arranging something, how much of the lyrics factor into your decisions for like where you build and where you go small? Do you think about that kind of stuff?
I honestly, I feel like when I'm in a song, I try my hardest to kind of step into it. Like, what is it meaning? And I feel like if I understand the song and make a connection from the song's lyrical content to like my own life experiences, then dynamically, it just kind of feels like it flows more naturally. Because I feel like, you know, we can connect our emotions to the keys really easily.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you almost start making like instinctual arrangement decisions just based on how the song makes you kind of respond.
Yes. Okay, wow, we got lots of questions here.
Do you want me to start firing them away?
Yeah.
Are you ready for them?
What are we, oh, you're gonna ask them to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to, I'll read them.
Okay, you read them.
Okay. So we got Overdo the Twinkles. Let me scroll back here.
Can we keep this live lesson on YouTube? We cannot, but if you are a Pianote member, you will have access to this live lesson afterwards on our member site.
Are you reading them?
Well, you're just taking too long.
No, how can we harmonize the melody? There.
Oh, okay.
How can we harmonize the melody, like classically?
I'm not really sure what you mean by classically, but...
For strings or violin, I think. Oh, okay. It's a question in terms of arranging for other instruments. Do you do that ever?
Yes. I have a sister that plays the violin, so I would always have to pick out the harmony lines for the violin to play. So what you can do is pick the 3rd or the 5th from the melody note. And then the other instrument can kind of follow that slowly. So for example, if this is Desperado, your other instrument might play maybe the A, the G sharp. So what I've done there is my melody is the C sharp. I picked the 3rd below and I popped it up an octave. Because what happens is that 3rd climbs down from A to G sharp to F sharp. And I feel that sounds really pretty. But you could also pick the top note of that triad. You could do the E. You could do the D. There's so many ways to put together arrangements. But I usually try to think in 3rds because that's usually can't go wrong.
Right. Yeah, it's a good call.
And then walk down from there or up.
Writing intros. Just a few tips for writing intros.
Writing intros. So, okay, so in every song there's usually like a tagline moment. So for what I mean by that is if I look at the song and I kind of find like that iconic sort of ending moment of either a verse or a chorus, In this case, this last line, these things that are pleasing you can hurt you somehow. That feels very either introductory or final. So I'm gonna take that progression with the A and I'm gonna play it sweetly. Oops. So much for sweetly. And that will work for my intro. Or you can just kind of play through the chords in the verse.
Yeah.
The first chords. That could be an intro too.
Sweet.
Yep.
Got a question from Chocolate, which is so. It's just his name is just Chocolate.
What?
Like how'd you get that username?
Yeah, that's kind of.
I feel like that's been taken.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
Tell us something about arranging blues songs.
I don't know how.
Put the sevenths back in.
Thank you, Jordan.
Put the sevenths back in. Yeah.
That's another lesson.
That is another lesson.
We'll have a lesson on
all I
arranging
can
blues
say
songs.
with blues songs, especially if you are working either singing yourself or you're working with another vocalist in a band setting, you can go so long or you can go so far with just minimalism in the blues. You can take your chords and take even just practice, like if you want just like a real quick thing to do like right now at your keyboard, just take like some seventh chords, but don't even worry about, like right now I'm just playing like every note in this C7 chord, but you can get rid of, just practice around playing just the third of each of your chords and the flat 7 and then play your root in the bass. And because that's a great instinct because it'll give you kind of what you need for the skeleton of your songs, and then you can start fleshing things out. You can start building. It's always nice to start, kind of small and sparse,
small
right?
and
And
grow.
then you build and grow it.
I agree.
We'll do a lesson on arranging blues songs in
will.
the future here.
Oh man, there's just lots going on.
When you want to break while singing, what do you do on the piano? What do you do on the piano when you don't want to sing, Lisa?
I just play through a chord progression of the song. So I might play through the chorus as an instrumental and improv through that. And then I just take a little chill vocally.
Yeah.
So I've done a verse, I've done a chorus, I've sung them, it's amazing. And now I'm going to tag on another chorus where I'm just instrumental. And then I'll
Right.
pop back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's a good question.
Okay.
What about arranging songs where there's no piano or little piano?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. So are we looking at so arranging a song where it's traditionally not with piano? Is that the question? Or is it filling in where there's not a lot of space for the piano, where it's more highlighted on the other instruments?
Right. Well, I took that from a perspective of how would you take a song that's not really written with the piano in mind and adapt that for the piano.
That's actually one of my favorite things to do. Get the chords, find the chord structure,
Yeah.
and do the exact same thing we did here today. So play just the basic chords without any rhythm on them.
Yeah.
And then start to build from there and find what's going to lend itself best to the style of song that you're trying to build.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
What about arranging songs where there's no piano, like a pop song? Yeah, or very little piano. I'm trying to think of like a pop song that's like a lot of the EDM stuff, right? There's not necessarily piano in them. What I've taken to doing is going on YouTube and looking for acoustic versions, because then you'll get just a guitar or just a piano, and there's always covers of everything, and it'll inspire you with some ideas on what you should make it sound like. But I feel like the piano can kind of mimic so many sounds.
Yeah.
So you can play anything.
The piano is such a great, you can cover anything on the piano and you can kind of make it into its own thing while still covering all the bases of the original song. That's why we play piano.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, we have so many friends from India
I know,
here.
it's really cool.
That's so cool.
It's sweet. How do you quickly improvise any song in that immediate moment?
Oh, that's tricky.
So what's the philosophy?
The philosophy for that is learn the chords. So you have like your shell, which is the chord structure and the rhythm. So if you can just play the basic chords with a basic rhythm, then you take the techniques that we kind of talked about today, playing broken chords, playing inversions, practicing, those 5 notes that land under your chord. A chord, you have A, B, C sharp, D, and E. Those are usually your yes notes. Just start playing them, see what happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's an interesting question that we can kind of dive off into.
Ooh.
What are some good chord progressions for a bridge section? What would you do for a bridge for this Eagles song? So writing a bridge for the Eagles song. Would you do that ever?
Nope.
What makes a good bridge, in your opinion?
A bridge is kind
What's
of
a bridge
like,
for?
So I don't know specifically when I think of a bridge, I think it's almost like you've got, I feel like they're really popular in pop music. Because you have these songs that are so repetitious. You are playing the same chords in the same order over and over. And I find that a lot of times the bridge section kind of diverts from that. So if you're moving, you know, in through your major chords, the bridge might go and highlight the minor, the relative minor. It changes the chord progression. It kind of gives your ear like, oh, where are we going? And builds the song and brings you back to where you were. It's like psychology because, you know, you get bored, you get used to it. Oh, we're here and oh, I want to go back. It's this cool little mind game.
You put some kind of novelty into it. It's like this little thing that switches things up.
I wouldn't bridge the song simply because it's so diverse.
As is?
As is.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why they didn't put a bridge on it. Because you've got a little bit of everything in here. That's my thinking.
I do agree with that. Let's see what else we got here.
Tags should be, like 4 measures is plenty for a tag.
For a tag? Oh yeah, for Luke? Yeah, like a tag at the end of the song, I think is fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Hand independence. How do you develop that? Real quick.
Hand independence, again, starting with staying together. Starting with staying together on your rhythms. So, you know, basic. My left hand's just following those 2 beats for each change. To build hand independence on that, I'm gonna start separating them. Right? Playing them at different times. Okay. Changing the rhythms, I find, has been really helpful for me in my hand independence. Yeah.
Even if it's just that teeter-totter thing. Totally. Learning to see your hands as, you know, they work together. It's a mindset where you don't see them as 2 separate entities. See them as one kind of thing that, you know what's weird? And maybe this will work. I don't know if this will work, but it worked for me. When I stopped thinking about myself as left hand and right hand and just thought, I'm playing from almost like right here or something.
I am playing from my heart center and I am one hand.
Yeah, you just become one appendage.
I'm making fun of you, but I love what you're saying.
It's the truth.
I know it is.
It totally works.
I know it is.
But you gotta kind of, you gotta give it some time to sink in there.
The Harvestarian, that is so sweet. Thank you for your energy and your kind words. Victor, Jordan can totally jam out the Boogie Woogie Jerry Lee Lewis. We will do another lesson on that soon, but we have one on the YouTube channel, don't we?
We got one on the YouTube channel.
If it's not there, it's on the member site.
We just did like something kind of on the Instagram page that was kind of Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, check that out.
What do you think about the generic map of major and minor chords? Generic map, maybe a circle of fifths or the generic map? That's tough. I'm not sure. How do you feel about modulations, when to use them or not use them? Well, I guess there's a few modulations in this song, right?
Yes. This would be maybe considered modulation, right?
Yeah, and that's, honestly, that's like my favorite.
Modulation moment.
When you go from your major 4 to your minor 4 and then back to your 1 chord, it's pinnacle.
It's not for every song. I wouldn't use that technique on every song, but in this case, it works.
Yeah.
I feel like they almost decided on the chords, like the music for this before they wrote. Like, I feel like they almost went like, we're going to use modulations and sevenths, and I feel like they structurally designed it before they created the actual song.
Lyrics?
It feels like one of those songs where like, I'm going to write a song with this particular technique in it.
Right.
And this is what happened. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's just a thought.
That's a theory.
It's one of my theories. Is it possible to play the piano in a strumming style like that of a guitar? I think this is kind of what you'd say strumming. Just the basic. Well,
yeah, I suppose. Actually, I would think like strumming's, it's kind of like rolling your chords.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be sort of, to me, that's how, if I was wanted to kind of guitarify my playing, I would.
You'd do that?
I would do that, yeah.
Okay, would you recommend printing out chord charts or challenging your ear? So I always printed out chord charts. And it left me kind of in a rut a few times when I had to perform. People were like, oh, play the song for me. Like, oh, I don't know without my chart.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do less of that now.
Right.
As a beginner, definitely print them out. Okay. Oh, a tag. A tag is kind of like when you go back to like that movement of, how do you describe a tag? It's like you go back to like that common sort of do moment. That's not even.
Oh, like at the end of the song
yeah,
when you're kind of tagging the main. It's like a little it's a repetition.
Here. The tag in this song, when you get to the end, this is the tag. So I'll find it for you. You better let somebody love you. And this is kind of a tag of that. Let somebody love you.
Right.
Oh, you better let somebody love you. It's tagging it.
Yeah.
It's like you tag it and go back. Or tag your it, then you do it again.
I always think of a tag as like a tag on like a shirt or something, but I guess maybe it's a tag.
It definitely has nothing to do with shirt tags.
It has to do with like playground tags. I don't see how you could make that work either. Like tag your it tag. Maybe we'll find out what the tag is referencing there.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a byproduct of the songwriting era.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I kicked you.
Songwriting is the
it was an interesting place
time period
of songwriting. Yeah. So that's about it. I think I'm just gonna sing and play the song.
You want to sing it from top to bottom?
I'm just gonna perform it for you all.
Okay.
If you want more, member site. Pianote.com.
Member site. That's right.
If you are a member, we're coming back later today to teach you about sight reading.
Sight reading.
Jordan's taking the wheel on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to sight read.
It's gonna be
We're
super
gonna learn
fun.
together. Is what it's
gonna be a group learning experience.
Yeah, it's gonna be a communal.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Why was that? Okay.
Well.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences for so long now. Oh, you're a hard one. I know that you got your reasons. These things that are pleasing you can hurt you somehow. Draw the queen of diamonds, boy. She'll beat you if she's able. You know the queen of hearts is always your best bet. Now it seems to me some fine things have been laid upon your table, but you only want the ones that you can't get. Desperado. Oh, you ain't getting no younger. Your pain and your hunger, they're driving you home. Oh, and freedom, well, that's just some people talking. Your prison is walking through this world all alone. Don't you think it cold in the wintertime? The sky won't snow and the sun won't shine, and it's hard to tell the nighttime from the day. And you're losing all your highs and lows, and ain't it funny how the feeling goes away? Desperado. Why don't you come to your senses? Come down from your fences and open the gate. It may be raining, oh, but there's a rainbow above you. You better let somebody love you. Let somebody love you. You better let somebody love you.